Now we are considering the most interesting subject in sexual medicine is masturbation. Most of the time patient comes and their misconception about importance is due to the masturbation. Nothing like that. What is the definition of masturbation? Masturbation is a deliberately self-stimulation which affects sexual arousal. Males, about 94% males are involved in masturbation which lead to orgasm. Some individuals don't masturbate because they don't have a sufficient sex drive. There are some slow reacting individuals who find it impossible to effect orgasm in masturbation. Where adults discovered the activity in children, reprimanded or punished the youngsters, made a public exhibition of the offense can upset the child's peace of mind. Masturbation provides the chief source of sexual outlet in early adolescence. There are few males who masturbate only once or twice in their life, and there are others who have frequencies that may average 7 to 20 or more in a week for a long period of years. There are few males who are still masturbating at 75 years of age. Masturbation after marriage is confined to those periods when wife is away. Sometimes masturbation is the product of fact that the wife does not want sexual relation as frequent as the male would like to have, or that period of pregnancy, menstruation or illness interfere with regular intercourse. There are definite taboos against masturbation, with the explanation that masturbation will drive one crazy, cue pimples, make one weak, bend the penis, cause impotence, affect vision, or do some other physical harm. More often, masturbation is simply rejected because it is considered unnatural. Masturbation does not ordinarily continue for more than a minute or two. Some individuals achieve orgasm in 10 to 20 seconds. In male, somebody masturbate by moving the penis against a bed or against some other object. All males experience sexual fantasies during masturbation. Some use erotic pictures for stimulation during the masturbation. Many individuals find some additional stimulations in observing their own genitalia. Boys learn to masturbate through friends or through the literature. Frequency of masturbation is inversely proportional to nocturnal emission. Males with high frequency of masturbation may have low rate of nocturnal emission and vice versa. Masturbatory activity does not do any harm to the individual. If the conflict, fearful, social, disgrace, guilt feeling that harms, it affects ultimate sexual capacities occasionally attempting suicide. On the other hand, masturbation provides a regular sexual outlet which alleviates nervous tension and boys lives in a balanced life. There is no evidence to prove that masturbation interferes with high mental, physical or moral efficiency. There is a tremendous individual variation in the capacity of engage in this sexual activity without undue fatigue. Therefore, it is not possible to define excess. Secondly, the autonomic nervous system has control over sexual activity. Like salivation or perspiration, the response is adequate according to the situation. For most males, coitus is primary and masturbation is secondary. For young people, masturbation is the chief source of sexual outlet up to the time of marriage. Masturbation is an alternative for coitus. Don't think masturbation is a bad. Remove from your mind first so that you will be healthy life in future. In females, what about the masturbation in females? Females masturbation is the one activity in which the second largest number of female engage both before and after marriage. In coitus, a female may be delayed or completely prevented from reaching orgasm. However, the techniques of masturbation usually offer the female the most specific and quickest means of achieving orgasm. Masturbation has not been as frequent and as regular a source of sexual outlet for females as it has been for the males. Many males are inclined to overestimate the incidence and frequencies of masturbation among females. In females, masturbation may or may not be pursued to the point of orgasm, and it may or may not have orgasm as its objective. Erotic satisfaction and some release from erotic tension are its objective. Most of the females discover how to masturbate as a result of exploration of their own genitalia. Females don't discuss their sexual experience in open way as males do. Many females don't begin masturbation till the age of 30, while most of the males begin masturbation after the onset of adolescence. About 94% of males masturbate, while only 62% of females masturbate at some time in the course of their lives. Means 62% prevalence of masturbation in a female and 94% prevalence in male. There is higher incidence of masturbation among the older females, since there is an actual increase in erotic responsiveness at the older age, reduce the coital activities at that age, reduction of inhibition, and they might have learned by experience of obtaining similar satisfaction through the self-masturbation. This is in contrast to males who reach their peak incidence in teenage. In elderly females, as the estrogen level falls, the sex-stimulating testosterone hormone produced by suprarenal level increases. Some women who fail to reach orgasm in coitus are then stimulated manually by their husband or their masturbate themselves until they reach orgasm. Some of the married females, on the other hand, confine their masturbation to periods where their husbands are away from home. The frequency of masturbation in single female is 1 in every 2 to 3 weeks, and in married female it is once in a month. There is individual variation in any type of sexual activity. There are some females who regularly masturbate to the point of orgasm several times in immediate succession, as often as 10 to 20, and even more times within a single hour. Many women often fear that masturbation would do them physical harm and consider it morally wrong and biologically abnormal. The scientific truth is that masturbation does not harm in any way. Females choose more types of techniques of masturbation than males do. Female most frequently involves in manipulation of clitoris and or labia minora. Clitoris is a small bird-like structure, a homologue of male penis, which is located at the upper end of vertical cleft of female genitalia. Labia minora are the paired inner lips and represent the body of the penis in male. In masturbation, the female usually moves finger gently and rhythmically over the sensitive area of applies rhythmic or steady pressure with several of her fingers or with her whole hand. Frequently, one of the two fingers are moved towards between the labia in a manner which brings each strokes against the clitoris. Sometimes the labia are generally and rhythmically pulled to stimulate then. Because these structures are attached to the clitoris, she simultaneously stimulates the organ. Occasionally, her heel or some other object is used to press on the sensitive areas. Clitoris and labia minora are the portion of the genitalia which are best supplied with the end organ of touch. Females don't masturbate by penetration of vagina, since wall of vagina are practically without nerves. Although there may be some sensory nerves close to the entrance of vagina. Deep vagina penetration in man's fantasy and is not the sexual need of woman. Major lips of female genitalia are involved in masturbation much less frequently. The above mentioned techniques are used by 84% of females, while 10% of females masturbating by crossing their legs and pressing them to exert steady and rhythmic pressure on the whole genital area. Such pressure affects the clitoris, labia minora and majora. During masturbation, the females may lie face down or with her knees drawn against her belly. Her buttock may then move rhythmically forward and against each other. In face down position, the female presses her genitalia against the bed or against the pillow which is placed under her pelvis or between her thighs. Thus the clitoris and other portion of genitalia are stimulated. The speed with which the orgasm is achieved through the use of such technique is equal or superior to that with which orgasm may be achieved by any other method. Nipples of the breast are erotically sensitive in nearly half of the females. The female may stimulate them with her hands simultaneously while manipulating her genitalia. Breast stimulation alone is not sufficient to effect orgasm. In connection with the above mentioned techniques of masturbation, most of the females make only occasional vaginal insertion by their finger. Females don't use dildos as a man imagine. Females don't use any object for penetration of vagina because there are no erotically sensitive nerves in the vagina. Nearly 50% of females reach orgasm in less than 3 minutes. The rest of them need 4 to 5 minutes for reaching orgasm. Female is not slower than male in reaching orgasm through the masturbation, while it is true that the average female responds more slowly than the average male in coitus because coitus is less affecting than masturbation in females. I wonder. Unlike males, females don't fantasize about coitus while masturbating. Females masturbate for the sake of immediate satisfaction and as means of resolving physiologic disturbances which arise when they are aroused sexually. After masturbation, they function more efficiently in their everyday affairs. Some females believe that pimples, mental dullness, poor posture, stomach upsets, ovarian pains, infections, weak eyes, headache, and several ailments are due to the masturbation. That is a myth. Physicians have not been able to relate these disturbances to masturbation. Thus, masturbation is a safe sexual outlet for female as well as for male. Fatigue after masturbation is like that which follows after any other activity utilizing energy. They recover from exhaustion within a matter of minutes or after a night of sleep. Sex researchers have come to a conclusion that tremendous amount of damage done is due to the worry over masturbation and attempt to abstain from this activity rather than by the activity itself. When no guilt, anxiety or fear is involved, the physical satisfaction due to sexual activity leaves an individual well adjusted psychologically. It has been observed that premarital experience in masturbation actually contribute to the female's better capacity to respond during the coitus after her marriage. It has been experienced by many women that premenstrual pain is relieved after masturbation. The reason is that as a result of orgasm achieved through the masturbation, the blood flow in the genital area is diverted to the rest of the body and the congestion of blood that causes pain is relieved. It has also been observed that if the female gets orgasm during the coitus, the chance of pregnancy increases since the mouth of the uterus opens widely, allowing more sperm flowing in. Is masturbation is normal? Animal masturbate, 94% males, 62% female masturbate. Inhibited male orgasm is unejaculation is common in those who don't masturbate. Female orgasmic disorder, anorgasm is common in those who don't masturbate. Use it or lose it is a rule for physiological function. It is like a net practice before playing the test match. It is proved to be harmless. It is a step in the development of sexuality. Advantages of masturbation: separate sex outlet, does not encroach upon other freedom since it is a solo performance, not immoral, does not cause STD, AIDS. You catch and surge orgasm can be done at any time, free of cost. Uses it is a step in sensate focus exercise. It is used in the treatment of sexual dysfunction, for giving semen for analysis, for giving semen for assisted pregnancies, for marriage, man, woman, wife is away or ill, to relieve pelvic congestion and dysmenorrhea, treatment of prostatitis, to prevent STD and AIDS, as a safe sex outlet for unmarried widows individuals, as a prerequisite for success in intercourse. In many, reduce the frequency of rape and sexual abuse, prostitution, premarital sex. Comment on masturbation. Social stigma and taboo persist. In December 1994, during the Second World War, Nazis wanted to kill the prisoners of war by masturbation. 20 soldiers were made to masturbate after every 3 hours for 21 months. When the war was over, the soldiers went home, some got married and they had normal children. This is a wrong concept. This is all myth. Masturbation, you don't based on your own psychological impact. Use condom to prevent AIDS is a popular slogan. There is a hierarchy of other safer methods, namely abstinence, masturbation, single partner, non-penetrative sex, and lastly, condom. This slogan might have been originated when masturbation is disorder and enjoyment is priority. In our country, there is nothing that is semen, that is precious fluid that every drop of it produces out of 50 drops of blood, and that there is a fixed stock of semen. If exhausted by masturbation, one can not be father child after marriage. That is a wrong concept. Myth. Athletes and bodybuilders are advised to refrain from masturbation. These assumptions are unscientific and baseless. There is tremendous guilt feeling among the adolescent boys that damage more than the masturbation itself. We find the following analogy useful. Once the steam is formed in the cooker, it will come out through the two outlets, whistle and valve. In our body, when the semen is produced, it tries to come out by way of masturbation or nocturnal emission. The sex glands inside our body are like spring and continue to produce the secretion. Masturbation is prerequisite for intercourse. Many times we find that these males who never masturbated find it difficult to ejaculate during this intercourse. Perhaps the ejaculatory reflex is but to rest because of non-use. Such persons are asked to masturbate, still they can ejaculate. Some have oversensitive glands of penis, some are afraid to retract the prepuce, or the retraction is painful. During masturbation, they stimulate the glands and or frenulum, which are erotically most sensitive. Though they are able to ejaculate by masturbation, they find intercourse to be painful. Such individuals are asked to masturbate by making to and fro movement or prepuce on the glands of penis by first of hand. Soon the pain is converted to pleasure and they can resume to intercourse. There is nothing like addiction of masturbation. It is substitute for intercourse. It is found that the males stop masturbation after marriage except when the wife is not available. There are some individuals suffering from obsessive compulsive disorder (OCD) who disregard daily routine and masturbate frequently. They need to be treated with SSRI like fluoxetine. Whether you should accept the nature's way, love it, respect it, make it beautiful, or feel offense guilty, disregard it and make it dirty, the choice is yours. Means in overall masturbation is normal and safe. Don't worry about it if you have had masturbation in past.